So firstly, what an unbelievable 3 points. To come away with the victory from where we were on the half-time whistle, I think is credit to every single player on that football pitch, the management, this, that and the other, all the things that people want to moan about. You've got to give credit where credit is due. The players showed fight, they showed character, and they did the job in that second half to win that game 3-2 with 10 men. So again, say what you want about whatever you want. The players in that second half performance deserve an awful lot of credit. And I honestly think we did deserve to win that football match, and we should have won that football match from the chances that we created and the goals that we scored. However, there are an awful lot of negatives once again. And I know a lot of you are going to be here for my Andre Onana rant. And believe me, the Onana rant will come. But I'm going to start with another player that I've been picking on an awful lot recently, and that is Diogo Dalot, who once again, defensively, was shocking tonight. His positional sense and his lack of effort to commit to certain situations is costing us every single week at the moment. I mentioned him a couple of times for the goals in the Everton game. I'm going to mention him again tonight. Obviously, he's got no fault to blame for the first goal that Ipswich scored, and we'll get to that. But he plays a massive part in that second goal that everyone's overlooking. He is standing up with Philogene. He is right there. He makes no effort to put a challenge in on Philogene. He makes no effort to block the cross from Philogene. And again, we'll get to what happened after the ball got put into the box in a bit. But that needs to be called out. His overall defensive positioning is shocking. He still plays like he's in a fullback. It doesn't matter whether he's on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side. He played both tonight. He defends as a right back. He doesn't defend as a right wing back. The first chance of the game, Ipswich get down our left-hand side, or their left-hand side, because Dalot's too tucked in. It's too easy for them to get round the outside of him. And once we went down to 10 men in that second half, the amount of times there was a solid 10-yard gap between Dalot and Philogene, it needs to be addressed, because it wasn't happening on the other side. When it was Mazraoui and Dalot was on the left, Mazraoui was pushing up on Leif Davis. When Dorgu, before he got sent off, he was pushing up on Philogene. It wasn't happening because these players understand their positioning in the wing-back role and they get out and they deal with the danger. If Dalot closes down Philogene and does his job, the whole second goal situation doesn't even happen. And there were other circumstances as well where, again, he doesn't track back as hard as he runs forward. It's genuinely something that needs addressing. Obviously, there's nothing we can do about it for the weekend. Dorgu's going to be suspended. Mazraoui will have to play on the right. Dalot will have to play on the left. But it needs mentioning because it is a bit of a problem at the moment. Now we'll talk about Onana, who I was at my wit's end with him a few weeks ago and I said Bayanda needs to start playing ahead of him. Tonight, he has had another 2 absolute shockers. The first one is absolutely unforgivable because poor old Dorgu has been absolutely hung out to dry. It's a nothing ball. I looked at my phone, right? I got my phone up. The ball went over the top. I've got my phone up. I'm messaging some of my mates about the Arsenal game and the whatever, all the other games going on. And I look back up and Philogene's putting the ball in an open net. And I'm sitting there going, how the hell's this happened? I see the replay and Onana's come out and you can see it. His mouth does not move. You can see it on the replay. His mouth does not move. He does not communicate to Dorgu in any way, shape or form that he's coming out to deal with that ball. And Dorgu, being the smart defender that he is, sees the ball coming, sees he's under pressure from Philogene and just touches it back to his goalkeeper, who's not there. That is unforgivable. You command your penalty area. Firstly, he shouldn't be coming out in the first place. But secondly, to come out and not communicate is embarrassing for someone that, again, has played at the highest level in the Champions League, in AFCON, wherever you want, Serie A titles, this, that and the other. That's shocking. The second goal, I can be a little bit more forgiving, but not entirely. I've already mentioned that Dalot's fault in that goal. You then have De Ligt's fault in that goal. You hold your defensive line. Again, experienced international defender, Champions League, Euros, World Cups. He's Bayern Munich, Serie A titles, Bundesliga title. He's played at the highest level. For him to just suddenly drop with Liam Delap when everyone else holds their line is shocking. And he does give Onana a horrible choice to make, where he has to decide whether or not to come out and deal with it, or try and react to what Delap does if he gets there first. In my opinion, Onana makes the wrong choice. Again, as a goalkeeper, as someone who's grown up watching Peter Schmeichel and Edwin van der Sar, you command your penalty area. That was goalkeeper's ball. He could have come out, got in front of De Ligt and De Lapp, and claimed that ball. He chose not to, which just leaves it in the fate of the gods. If De Lapp touches it, he makes the movement as if De Lapp's going to make the touch. If De Lapp does make the touch, does he save it? Unlikely. So it's just a ridiculous situation, and it goes in, and it just looks like another absolute horror show from Onana, because it is. And it's another 2 goals that he has let in that were completely and utterly avoidable. So I don't know where we go with it. I mean, do we replace him in the summer? Do we replace him before the end of the season? Bayendi is injured. You've got Harrison on the bench, who has got a massive reputation behind him from his youth career, but it's probably a bit too soon for him. So we'll see. Will Bayendi make the weekend game against Fulham? I don't think he will. So I think we are stuck with Onana for the rest of this season, but a massive question mark over him coming into the summer transfer window, because it is one of the heaviest shirts in football, the Manchester United goalkeeping position. And at the moment, unfortunately, as much as I've defended him where I can, he's letting us down at the moment. From there, obviously, you've got the red card. It's unfortunate. It's a red card. I'm not going to sit here and whinge and moan, and I'm sure people are going to go, oh, well, you're not going to whinge and moan because Man United still won. I'm an honest person. I say this all the time on this channel. If we lost that game, I'd have put no blame on Dorgu. It's an honest challenge. He gets the ball. I must stress that as well. He gets the ball. But you go in, studs up, you make contact with the shin of an opponent, you're going to get a red card. End of. He knew it. You can see immediately apologised. What I really liked is actually how the referee dealt with it. He waited for all the multiple angles. He wanted to make sure Dorgu didn't slip because of the conditions. He wanted to make sure that the contact was significant enough because he recognised that Dorgu got the ball. And I really liked that instead of just going beep, beep, and then showing him the red card, he actually called over Dorgu and said, look, unfortunately, you've gone in like that. I have no choice, and sends him off. And Dorgu accepts it. And you don't get any of the complaints because the referee has actually explained himself before issuing the red card. So fair play to the referee for that. And like I say, definite red card. From there, though, like I say, I've ignored the 2 Manchester United goals in the first place. 2 more set pieces. Obviously, it ended up being 3 more set pieces. But I've got to give credit to Bruno Fernandes on his set pieces, which is a hell of an improvement from what I was saying literally a couple of days ago when I was moaning about his set pieces. All 3 goals that have been scored today have been scored because Bruno Fernandes has put in quality set pieces. Something that we have been desperately lacking over the last 5 or 6 years, if we're being honest. First one, hammered in. I think if Morsey doesn't own goal it, then Højlund scores anyway. So I don't think there's anything we can really complain about that. Second one, brilliant ball in. Maguire wins the header. Good save. Comes back to Dalot. Good save again. And Xerxes, De Ligt's sharp enough to get to the rebound before the Ipswich defender. Really good work. Good effort. And I say good delivery. And then the final one, again, brilliant outswinger. Maguire meets the header. Bullet header. And oh my word, Harry Maguire's hitting the target at Old Trafford. Where has this been in his entire Manchester United career? He scored against Leicester. He had a couple last week against Everton that were saved. He had the one from Palmer that was saved before we even scored the first one. He had the one on target that was saved, which led to the second one. And then obviously he scored the third. So well done, Harry Maguire, for actually starting to get your headers on target in a Manchester United shirt. But genuinely, credit to Bruno Fernandes, who has put in some absolutely fantastic deliveries tonight on set pieces. And it's something we've desperately been lacking, is goal from set pieces. And our last 5 goals have all come from set pieces. So, well done for that. It's just a shame we're not quite doing enough in our all-round play to create more chances from open play. But, if we're going to start being more threatening on set pieces, that is a positive, because it is something we have been lacking. Final notes from me. I think Harry Maguire deserved the man of the match. Obviously, he got the goal. He was a constant threat all game. But he also handled Liam Delap really, really well. He didn't give him an inch tonight. He really didn't. There was that one incident where Ipswich wanted a penalty, where he sort of got his arm a bit round him and he wrapped the other arm a bit round him. But Delap's not trying to play the ball. He is just leaning and saying, please foul me, please foul me, please foul me. And I don't think Maguire did enough to foul him. And just his all-round play. Some of his passing, again, people overlook it with Maguire. But his long-range passing, especially if he was in the centre of that back 3, those sprays he hits out to the right wing-back and the left wing-back, or when Dorgu tucks in and Garnacho goes out wide and he hits those balls out to Garnacho, he's so consistent with them. And it's a real pressure reliever. And when you consider how much pressure we put ourselves under with the constant back passes from midfield to the defence or from the defence to Onana, the fact that we can always give that ball to Maguire and 9 times out of 10 he's going to hit that pass away pretty decently. He's a massive asset to us at the moment. And I know we're struggling and it's easy to say, well, of course Harry Maguire's doing well. You're in mid-table and he's having to do his Leicester job again. But right now, that is what we need. So, again, outstanding from Maguire. He's my man of the match. Ugarte, De Ligt, Yoro. Again, anyone from a defensive perspective, other than Dallo, who I've already criticised, I think deserves a lot of credit for their jobs done tonight. So, fair play to them. The forwards worked their socks off, especially with 10 men. Højlund probably should have stayed on instead of Xerxes. Xerxes looked absolutely knackered by the end of the match. So, a little bit of a controversial decision from Amarin then. But, at the end of the day, 3 points at home to Ipswich. It's a game that we had to win. It's a game that we've put ourselves in an incredibly difficult position to win. But ultimately, we have won. So all the jokes about Manchester United getting relegated, at least, they can now be swept away because we've beaten a side in the relegation zone and we are now well clear of any of that. And incredibly, we're actually now closer to the top 4 than we are to the relegation zone despite being so far down the table. So it is what it is. We move on to FA Cup action at the weekend. Another home game. We've got Fulham. Hopefully we can get another result to progress in that tournament. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you very soon.